Good afternoon. Thank you for joining. We're just going to take a couple of minutes, get yourselves a cup of tea, a glass of water, and we will start in any second. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining. We'll be starting shortly. Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Here we are again for our latest in the weekly sessions that we have on a Wednesday afternoon. So just a quick reminder, this is a recorded session. Let's respect each other on the call. The last time I checked, we're all human beings, so please treat each other that way. And if you want to engage with the conversation that we're having live today, please feel to come off mute, or if you're not comfortable doing that, feel free to use the instant message as well. Hopefully you can all see my screen. So if you can give me a quick thumbs up or let me know that you can see that, that would be awesome. I'm just waiting to see something there from the people online. All good? All good. Okay. So we are talking about all things around HR tech trends today. My name is Gareth Jones, and you can check out more about me online there. There's my link to my LinkedIn profile. But essentially, what we do as a business is try to make the world a better place, one engagement at a time. And we've been honing that mission over the last 3 years since Lightrise has been going. But enough on that. The agenda today, just a quick introduction. Here we are. Hello. It's good to see you all again. We're going to be talking about Viva Tools, which is a set of products from Microsoft, which I'm particularly excited about. But we are going to go off-piste a little bit as well. And we're going to go into a few other technologies, which I'm sort of tracking at the moment as we go through the start of the year and what things could be useful for yourselves going forwards. So without further ado, we'll go into some bits and pieces. So Microsoft have traditionally had a HR system in this place. It's called Dynamics HR. It does everything from the start of an employee life cycle, even prior to that, actually, applicant to retirement, essentially. All of the bits in between, learning management, goals, performance management, onboarding, offboarding, compensation, budget management, timesheets, the payroll, the list is endless. But over the course of time, Microsoft have brought in new tools, and this is what they've called the Viva Suite. And we'll be talking a little bit around that as we go forwards. But I want to introduce you to some things before that and tell you what is going on essentially in this space. So I'm going to bring this over into view. Now, we have to start off talking about AI really, because there's AI everywhere. So some people will be using ChatGPT, which is awesome. But it's just one language model, and Microsoft have got Copilot, and we've been using Copilot for around about 18 months now, and it's sort of our go-to, and it really is resonating with us that it's not just AI. This is your personal Copilot to enable you to succeed doing whatever you're doing, depending on the prompts that you're putting within it. And Copilot exists in terms of, okay, well, we can ask it some questions, and we're going to do this in a minute. But it also exists as a layering within many of the applications and solutions which Microsoft provide to enable your processes. And we've talked there briefly around the HR process, and hopefully you can see this. Now, what you're welcome to look at this in your own time, and I can drop that link there into the chat. But what you've got happening here is the bringing together of their HR solution with things like Teams. And the reality is, all these solutions that are on the market, they're all lovely, and some of them are more lovely than others in terms of their shininess. And some are stronger in terms of their record structures and their security. But the reality is that for many workers, we're not logging into portals. We are going along in the course of our day, perhaps using our Slack channels or our Teams channels and those sorts of things. And what you've got happening here is the knitting together of these components and the surfacing of an improved onboarding process within Dynamics HR. And you can see some of that within this video as well. So that's super exciting in terms of what's coming from an AI enabled via Copilot point of view in terms of Dynamics, and it's certainly one to watch, I would suggest, as the year rolls out, because as we've seen with the rest of this solution around project operations, booking time to projects, internal or external, finance, all sorts of Copilot enabled scenarios to enable you to really get the best of, i.e. bringing this AI in on the side and it being your Copilot as you go through your day-to-day operations. And as I say, Copilot works a little bit like other things out there, but the nice thing is it's all sort of ring-fenced with security and all sorts of other bits and pieces. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of prompting. I'm going to copy that one, actually, create a picture of the elephant in the room, because I want to talk about the elephant in the room in a moment. But I'll just show you a couple of my favorite prompts here. So the secret is in the language of these things and what you do. So hopefully, again, you're continuing to see my screen there. Is that all good? Hopefully, I can get a thumbs up or a response from one of yourselves there. Everyone can see my screen, see Copilot? Yeah, good. Thank you. Super. So we're not doing the elephant in the room, but I know that you're all excited to see that picture. We are going to say, tabulate a project plan for an important HR initiative with columns for the role, the effort, the duration, and the tasks to get us from being mediocre to awesome. Now, I haven't I haven't tested this, so there's no telling what it's going to come back with. But the principle here is tabulate a project plan. That's the key thing here, because you get this nice output like this. And you can tweak that and you can add things in and ask it questions. But that's one thing which I think is really good in order to sort of springboard your thinking around the structure of bits and pieces. We could, as I was talking to someone in the week, use this to improve the way that we respond to people in an emotionally intelligent way. And this was an example which I used in the week. Please don't laugh. Write me a letter write me a letter in an emotionally intelligent way. To my pet hamster whose balloon has just died. Now, you could put the context around anything you want to, but this could also, give you an idea around what could inspire you to put in your communications, as an example. We could start to consume information around spreadsheets. So we might say, start to look at this information and analyze it. And we wouldn't necessarily have to worry so much around what that was doing, because it would be within this sort of ecosystem, multiverse, whatever you want to call it, of Microsoft's, which has got the security all around it. And you can just sort of point Copilot to those things. But let's get that elephant in the room, and then we can talk about the elephant in the room. This is really great for marketing materials. So if you want to, make your experience stronger, it's a really easy way now that we can empower ourselves to do that. And there we go. We've got the elephant in the room. Now, I could make that more photorealistic. And we could say, create a maybe anything actually, say a cartoon picture of the elephant room. So see here, the magic is in the prompting of these tools, and off it goes, and it will go ahead and create things. Now, you can put anything in there. I just encourage you to try it out and see what you can find. Now, if we jump back from that little detour back into Copilot's readily available, by the way. If you go to Bing, you see a little icon, and you'll get a little screen like that. Maybe if you've got a work account and those sorts of things, you can choose which experience that you want to. I think it's Alt space bar now. You can do Copilot chat from your Windows environment and those sorts of things. But what I want to do is give you an overview of all of the exciting things which are in Viva. And we'll be guided by the presentation deck for this. But I just want to bring into view one other thing. So bear with me 1 second. And I will just bring this up. So Viva comes from a number of different areas of the business, and it draws together various different experiences to enable you to have a engaged and productive workforce. Now, this is the elephant in the room. I was really sad about this when I read about this earlier this week. Viva Goals is actually a really strong tool for managing one-to-ones or just tracking your progress on an individual or project level against company strategy. But sadly, again, the elephant in the room is that Microsoft are retiring this. So as we've got more information on that, we will let you know. But the good news is that Dynamics HR there has a goals feature in it as well. So It's not left the field completely open. And we've also got all of these awesome things here now, which we'll go into in a little bit more depth with Viva and how they can really enhance this space, which we call HR. But if we think about HR, the reality of where it's come from, it's sort of personnel management. We talked about human resources. I see a lot more departments calling this a people department because what we are talking about here is people. We're talking about technology and we're talking about people and people-centered technology, which is what we've got with Viva. So I'm probably going to stop, using that term, but it's about people-centered technology and humans. Let's face it, human resources. Well, we're more than just resources, aren't we? So we are people, but yeah, obviously it's a term which resonates with many people. And we do understand what we're talking about when we use that term. What we'll go through in this session for the variety of it is just a look through some of these elements of Viva. Now, they all come as part of a package, a suite. Some people may already have access to these things. And if you are in Teams and you go down to that ellipsis and you click on the three dots and you search for Viva, you may well find that your organization already has a number of these things enabled. But there's enabling IT, and then there's enabling IT. And you can flick a switch on, but obviously, unless people know how it's there, how it can empower them, how you can use it as a business, have a culture where it's acceptable to use these things as a business, then that's sort of the larger change piece around that. And as I've said before, the success in any project around IT is typically 70% is people. So it's always important to remember that. We're looking at Viva Connections. And you can see here, we can explore this as we go through the website. You can do this yourself. You can watch in some of these videos as well if you want to take a look at what these things are. But this is about thinking, who are the consumers in your business of information? And you might think about that in terms of a persona. And you might think, well, actually, there's a bit like marketing or communications, any of these things. There will be groups of employees and workers who have needs for different information and needs for different experiences here. And what you can do with Viva Connections is to manage some of those channels and to enable some of the deeper connections across the business, simplifying work and bringing together some of these experiences that exist. So to some extent, it acts as a glue across things. If we look at Viva Engage, this really does unite leaders and co-workers across your organization. So this, if we think about particularly in larger organizations, but also for SMBs as well, how we communicate, it gets increasingly more challenging for leaders to have a unified voice across an organization the larger it becomes. And you do need to put more thought and consideration into the voice of the organization and what is going out there and all of those good things that we know. And with Viva Engage, whether it's a formal or informal communications, you can start to build out these types of communities. And what you see here is, ways of bringing across some of the surveys and things like that to essentially do what it says on the can around engagement, worker engagement, and improve that, giving people a space to bring their own strengths to the business by sharing knowledge, connecting with leadership, and bringing across a whole set of community spaces, which are within the Microsoft sort of ecosystem. And there's a number of different products out there on the market, which do these types of things. And you can even start to do this yourself to some degree with modern SharePoint, with some more design considerations. But this really kind of puts the icing on the cake around some of that, and is another great tool which Microsoft have in this people technology space. If we take a look at some of the other components, we've also got Viva Glint. Now, Viva Glint is it's actually an acquisition from Microsoft. Glint was an organization in its own right, and they do some really great information around engagement again, and you can knit some of these pieces of this solution stack together to reveal further insights on your information that you're collecting from your workforce. There is sort of a limit on some of these. You don't get you don't get the insights. I think sort of below 10. There's obviously privacy concerns which are locked in there and baked into the product. But here you can take a look at engagement and performance across the whole life cycle. Now, depending on the business, I've cast my mind back to some education institutions that I've worked in and for university level. And there's this whole process of going through a formalized engagement survey on an annual basis. It's not soon enough. It should be a lot more than that. There should be a free-flowing communications. But let's say it is annual, then you could do it all via this. You could package it up. You can have a look at the scores over time, comparisons, benchmarks, those sorts of things. But the real beauty of this is obviously it shouldn't just be a one-off exercise. It should be a telemetry which is coming back from the organization in terms of surveys and those sorts of things. And I remember a good friend of mine actually who worked in manufacturing some years ago. We were talking about the capture of ideas and the structure in a business around the capture of ideas. If you're able to capture feedback, which improves your processes, improves your systems, and enables you to make your culture and organization stronger, then that has to be a good thing. And typically when you see that in place, you see businesses going far. So that is well worth a look as well, I would suggest, if that is something that you're maybe looking at bringing into your people strategies. And again, it's always worth being aware of these things because it can inform your approach for a people strategy. Whether that's a learning and development approach or a skills-based approach or of a culture of strength in diversity, ensuring that people from various different parts of the business have got a voice, and all of these things which go into our professional thinking as people professionals. So that is a little bit around Glint. And then if we move on further, we've talked about Viva goals. Let's not dwell on things too much. But you've seen there in Glint again, we've got the performance element of it, but also when we go into Dynamics HR as well, we have the record structures there that we would need to bring some of this to life further. Viva Insights tends to be free to a point, and what you get with Viva Insights, and this is the one thing that you may well find if you go through and look at your ellipsis there in Teams, because Viva Insights, it does provide you with information on the way that you're working, and if you use that information, if you think about how it can be used in terms of how can you be your best self? You know, how can you make small improvements in your day-to-day role in order to have more of a positive impact, essentially. So here you can see on screen that we've got some productivity insights for our organization. And it's saying, well, these are your meeting hours across there, or I've certainly had it, you know, tell me, well, you've cancelled meetings pretty late in the day, essentially. I'm paraphrasing. And this might have an impact on others. So, you know, is there anything that you can do not to cancel meetings so quickly? And I wish there was, and there is always something you can do, but sometimes there isn't as a parent. But you know, it is useful. It makes you aware of your modus operandi, the way that you are moving through your day and interacting with your colleagues and all that sort of thing. It can help you keep a balance in life. It shows you if, you know, maybe you're reaching out after hours a bit too much, because actually doing that, folks, kind of drives a culture where everyone feels they should be doing the same thing. So that's not always good. Um, so yeah, that's really good. There's remote commutes on that. I was, you know, always a little bit skeptical, but being a remote worker, and having an organization that's built around that, yeah, there is a lack of a physical divide sometimes, and the remote working sort of commute that you can do on there. I'm not sure what the science is, but I can tell you it certainly helped me in creating that separation from work and life. And I didn't write it down, but it did feel like I had less dreams about work because you're sort of disconnected from that space. So those are useful things as well. Now that's all from a personal point of view, but we get some amazing workforce insights here. And if you've, you know, if you're looking to get some good intelligence around the way that you're the people in your team's work across your organization, then this can really help shine a light on things, and the way that you're actually interacting with some of the technology. And you can see there's some examples of the types of insights and things that you can actually get from this. We've talked about the well-being, but again, productivity. Now, yeah, it's easy just to switch this thing on, but I would encourage you, or if you're starting to do this, then you need to be thinking about your communications and how you're trying to set particular values and particular cultures and make it acceptable and show people, you know, show people how you can use some of these tools in their day-to-day life. You may have seen insights, of course, nag you for Outlook as well, saying that there's tasks which you've committed to, and there's, you know, there's pros and cons, but it's certainly good in making sure that you don't miss certain things, I would say. So that is a little bit on Viva Insights. And then we've got Viva Learning, which again, you can probably find this on that ellipsis. And it's you know, the LMS, the Learning Management System. Yeah, where is this place where we can go and learn? Where is the corporate place to learn? Well, the reality is we do learn from all sorts of places. We learn from structured information and we learn from unstructured information. And we learn through different modes. So auditory, visual, kinetic, and there's different ways, and different people have different preferences. What we find with things like Viva Learning is it's kind of like, I would say it's like it provides the structured paths, and it didn't initially. It kind of focused on those water cooler conversations where you'd had, you know, informal learning, and it was guiding you to various different pieces around that. But now we've got all of that SCORM compliant learning material, which we can bring into this experience, but we can guide people along particular tracks of learning as well. And some of those tracks of learning, if I can just find this again, can be structured with academies in Viva Learning. Now, the awesome thing about Microsoft is that their learning material, this is all open. The videos and everything in Microsoft keep all of this up to date. So that's really, really good. But you can see here, it guides us through how we can set up an academy, we can configure that academy and enable it. And this gives you some sort of sense of the other things that you can do as part of Viva Learning. Now, it doesn't matter what HR people system that you've got. It could be SAP, Workday, HiBob, Personio. There's a saturated market with these types of things. But this will plug in to anything, because all of this Viva suite is based on your identity, which has previously been called Azure Active Directory, or AAD. You might have seen it. Microsoft have rebranded that now, and it's called Entra. And with Entra, you can, make sure that you've got a duplicate from your single source of the truth, which is typically your people system. And then you can have a lot of rich features going on around all of this. So maybe it's a particular type of talent that you want to drive a certain academy through, or you've got compulsory safety, service-based health and safety courses, risk assessments, all sorts of things you can embed in here. Really, really simple, and doesn't take a lot to get this set up. And there's some pre-canned courses and things like that. So it's really good if you are an SMB, a small to medium business, you're looking to accelerate quickly in some of these spaces. And I think that's really, really exciting. Any questions so far? I'm just going to quickly pause, see if anyone wants to come off mute, see if anyone wants. Is this useful, folks? Is this good? Are you finding this useful? I'm going to drink my tea, my lovely smiley mug. Good. Right. Well, if you have any questions, please follow it up with us, either on this call or afterwards. So next stop in. Now, this is the drum roll moment before the end of today's session. I could carry on talking about timesheets, expense management, lots of other things that exist, but these are the bits which excite me at the moment. These are the bits where the AI-powered services are coming in with Copilot, and Copilot is now genuinely this really useful thing which empowers us and as they enable us to take us forwards with some of the things which I've shown you earlier. But Skills isn't out yet, so this is a little bit of a teaser. But with Viva Skills, and I'll just bring some of that into view, so bear with me a second. You can again have information in your people systems, and what you can do is then duplicate that information across to your Entra ID and all of those sorts of things, and start to use some of Viva Skills, which, as it says here, is an AI powered service once again. There is a move to bring this out later this year. And I'll just get some visuals on this for you. Here we go. So we can send this link out for those of you on the call or anyone who wants it afterwards. But here it is. If you just Google for Viva Skills, take you through to the Microsoft website, and it will tell you about many of the things that we can do here. Now, what Skills is doing is bringing this telemetry through from things like Entra, but it can also bring in, with permissions and agreements obviously set up, stuff in from LinkedIn, because yeah, we're all underselling ourselves really. If we think about all of the skills that we've got, we probably, the organizations that we work for don't know about them all. I think we could be doing voluntary roles and all sorts of things, which we might actually potentially spend more time putting on our LinkedIn profile than we do making sure that there's an updated repository internally around this. But once you've got it, you can actually then start to do some real great strategic workforce planning around people's strengths and the depth of those strengths. And that is really, really useful when it comes to thinking about the future, thinking about where you're going as a business, and bringing people up along on that journey with you through their own growth. And you can start to see how some of this sort of links in, thinking, okay, we think about the skills, we think about the learning and everything that can be underpinned with this. Now, there are elements, more elements to all of this. There's Viva Amplify. So keep an eye on the Viva space. It's been around now for a few years. It's maturing. It's super easy to set these things up. You haven't got these long lead times like you have with some of these big people system implementations. There are faster ways to achieve success and value in all of this. And I'll just leave you one other thing, which is coming to this particular suite of solutions. So for those who are in people departments and IT departments, we all know that sort of movers and levers create a bit of churn around the provisioning of these IDs, because the reality is, unless you've got an automation, someone's double keying. So you've got two repositories of information, and I would be incredibly rich if I had money for every time I'd seen this problem, whereby the people department have got their information, something's happened, it's gone across to the IT colleagues, it's in this Active Directory, it's not being refreshed, people's titles, all sorts of things are out of date, and it's just a pain, an utter pain within your organization. Well, coming soon, and you can do this already, but coming soon to Dynamics HR is this ability to auto provision those things and keep it in date. So that will save us all, certainly from a back office transactional point of view, a lot of effort going forwards. That, though, I'm afraid to say, is the end of our session today. So thank you very much for joining. I'm very grateful to spend time with you, as always. And if you need any support with anything, let's just chat about it. Let's explore a scenario together on a short 15-minute call. And you can book those calls there, as always, with that QR code. This is a weekly series of events. So please feel free to sign up to future sessions and drop in. It'd be great to see you. We do have some bonus gifts. We are all about making a positive impact, one engagement at a time. If you want to make a positive impact with AI and sign up for one of our free courses, we're going to be going through some more prompting and taking you through that experience of building the initial stages of an agent, then please do so. But if you're not interested in the course, then please help us make an impact in these great areas of the environment, animals' health, as we're going along. You can take these QR codes, you can track the impacts on our website and see how we are all making the world a better place through what we're doing. Bit of a refresh on this, actually. Microsoft have also got some great materials on their website, all around Copilot, and whether your readiness around your leadership, your user enablement, technical readiness, all of those sorts of things, ready for you to consume yourself or be helped with partners through those sorts of journeys. And last but not least, so towards the end of the last year, we're always doing lots of exploration, trying to find the best solutions for people that are going to bring value quickly, effectively, etc. And we've got some great tools which we're able to run on IT operations in the background, and they use information from your system to suggest how you can save money on your cloud licenses and subscriptions. And again, we talked there about the challenges around churn and starters and leavers, subscriptions, all of those sorts of things can be a bit of a nuisance to keep on type of. So this tool enables you to watch very carefully and typically returns some value for you and reducing your spend and those sorts of things. So if you are interested in that, please use the QR code and sign up. That's all from me today. So just over to yourselves. If there are any questions or anything that we can help you with on this call today, otherwise I wish you all a great day. I'm not seeing any questions come through, which is fine. It is lunchtime here in the UK. Thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Take good care and see you soon.